Hello and welcome to the New World Review, and actually, welcome to the final New World Review video of the year. And today, I don't think there's a more fitting topic than to get into the ever-intriguing discussion of will Hunter x Hunter be returning in 2020. I'm not going to lie, this discussion does spawn from a really terribly dark place that I like to refer to as 2019, and rather sadly, this year became the first since Hunter x Hunter began serialization that not a single chapter was published. And this is super disappointing because even though Hunter x Hunter is always on this never-ending period of hiatus, there was actually some regularity to chapters being published, and with the exception of the previously most awful 2013, fans could count on roughly 9 or 10 chapters a year at least. On average, I guess. Sometimes much more, sometimes a bit less. And it should be noted that in 2013, only 2 chapters were published, which is a pretty abysmal yet somehow much more preferable amount than what 2019 has delivered. But even though this is the worst hiatus period for Hunter x Hunter, this is not the first time that we as fans have experienced such despair. Every time the series takes a hiatus, we are all met with that same sinking feeling. The unknown of when the series will return, and the looming thought that this time it may be the end, because there is never a guarantee that serialization will restart. And it's such a sad state of affairs because it always reminds us of exactly how much potential Hunter x Hunter had as a series. For some insane perspective, it began serialization a mere year after One Piece began. You know, One Piece, the world's third highest selling comic book, having run for 22 years and completely revolutionizing shonen manga as we know it. Well, Hunter x Hunter back in the day was a series that was supposed to give One Piece a run for its money, and for a while, it absolutely did. These 2 shonen series formed a powerhouse block alongside other contemporaries such as Naruto and Bleach, but Hunter x Hunter, despite remaining incredibly popular, would come to fade from the limelight as the other series I've mentioned went on to become the big 3. And as for Hunter x Hunter, the period of hiatus began. And now this is where we cut to the comment section, either wishing Togashi all the best for his health issues, or cursing him for being lazy and prioritizing playing Dragon Quest over fulfilling his commitment to the fans, or any number of other theories that have been perpetuated by the staggering silence over the years. And unfortunately, there's really nothing anyone can provide to solidify a reason as to why the hiatuses keep happening. Although the most legitimate piece of information we do have is Togashi citing that he has chronic back pain and claims to be completely bedridden at times. And yes, I can see how that would make drawing manga, just a little bit difficult to say the least. And there are a bunch of conspiracy theories out there posting photos of Togashi at social gatherings and calling him a blatant liar, but I really disagree with that train of thought. Having health issues does not mean that you could never go outside or put yourself together enough for a couple of hours for an important event. Although here's the thing, even if both Togashi and Shueisha were lying for the sake of saving face, I am mostly in the camp that Togashi doesn't necessarily owe us anything. Although I will present the counter argument for this later, because I also think that's a very important discussion. But it pains me to say this as a massive Hunter x Hunter fan, because seeing the series reach its conclusion, or at the very least being able to explore the Dark Continent even a teeny tiny bit, are both high on up there for the things I want most in this world. But in the end, if Togashi doesn't have the pure drive to create Hunter x Hunter anymore, then the sad fact is that it may be better off never being finished. And I say that as someone who very much lives on the mantra of only doing things when you feel like you want to do them. Because generally I find that if I force myself into things, then my work suffers significantly from the half-assed effort I put into it. And I do not want that to be Hunter x Hunter. And we do also know that mental strain plays a huge part in Togashi's struggles, along with his health issues. Being a mangaka is one of the most hellish jobs I have ever heard detailed. The hours are absolutely insane, and the deadlines would drive most people mad within a few months, if not weeks. In fact, Togashi even stated himself that for the last few months of publishing Yu Yu Hakusho, he had lost all emotional attachment to the series due to a combination of his body, a change in perspective on the art form of manga, and rather simply the desire to do something, literally anything else, that was not work. And to call that lazy, I don't think is particularly fair, because I don't think any of us can really imagine just what it is like to operate in Japanese society at the highest levels with these kind of expectations. There's a reason why Japan has an alarmingly high suicide rate. Luckily for Togashi though, due to creating 2 of the biggest hit series in manga history, he's made more than enough money than most of us could ever dream of, and is under no obligation to continue working and making the concept of his own happiness a background feature. Although that does open up a new avenue of discussion, which is that with such financial security, or more accurately, quite a lavish lifestyle, it can be said that you may want to consider the fans who read and bought your work to put you in that position. And what I mean by this is at the very least regular communication about the status of the series and how he's currently doing. And I know in polite Japanese society that sort of openness is probably frowned upon, but at times the silence is really deafening. So does Togashi owe us anything? Well, as I stated before, no, I don't think he does. but I do question the decisions he has made in regards to Hunter x Hunter despite that belief. For example, I can accept that his health is so bad that it prevents him from drawing the large majority of the time, and when he can, it's just nowhere near enough to really rival his former quality. However, that doesn't necessarily prevent him from writing, and perhaps using his infinite wealth to hire an artist or even an army of artists to put Hunter x Hunter into the best possible production it could be. In fact, I'm certain that Shueisha itself would gladly hire an artist if Togashi went down that route, because publishing Hunter x Hunter is just like printing money for them, and it's really amazing how its popularity has just remained over the years despite everything. It really is a unique series. But the only real reason I see for Togashi not to invest in such an endeavor is because of some sense of ownership over the series, which, to be fair, he does have. But it might be a sort of pride that he can't possibly let anyone touch it except for him, lest it be tainted. And that is fair enough to some degree, I get that, I really do. But at a certain point, I do think that a level of sacrifice is required and some responsibility taken. This is not a situation that anybody wants. Togashi does not want to hand over his manga to anybody, even if it is for purely aesthetic work, and the fans who made and continue to make him a very wealthy individual do not want to keep living with hiatuses. So I honestly don't see a good argument for not bringing on an external artist. I mean, there are the following schools of thought. Either Togashi is so passionate about the series that he cannot bear to relinquish any form of it, in which case surely his love for the series and desire to deliver it would suspend that, or Togashi has lost the passion for Hunter x Hunter or intermittently loses passion, in which case there is no reason to care about another artist taking on your workload. And so I've reached a point where it honestly does become a bit hard to defend the current state of Hunter x Hunter. The only argument I have is the one I made earlier in the video, where if Togashi has lost passion for it, then maybe it's not worth continuing a series with great art and mediocre writing. I don't know, it really is a tough one. What we do know is that Togashi has stated that he would like to finish Hunter x Hunter. I mean, sadly this statement comes from an interview in mid-2018, so who knows what has happened since then. He did say though that it has either come to the point where either the story concludes first or he dies first, which, yes, those are the only two possible options available. Kind of a redundant thing to say really, but that statement is recent enough that it does give me some weird sense of hope. Although I don't know if that is just me having learned to live in an abusive relationship with this series. From my personal perspective, I can definitely say being a Hunter x Hunter fan is incredibly frustrating at times, because I am eagerly sitting here being like, I want to explore your world. I want to watch your characters and their stories play out. And I want to pay for the work that you publish, only to be met with complete silence and to never be given any indication of progression until an official announcement is made. So I do wish that Togashi could be more transparent about the situation, because then at least we might be able to achieve some sort of sense of understanding. With that said, we also do need to remember that Hunter x Hunter is just one series. Really weird to say, because essentially at this point I have an entire channel based on it, but there are other much more important things in life to invest time and passion into. Plus, it's not as if never having more chapters is a net loss. In the end, this series has still given us an exceptional amount of content that managed to capture our attention in the first place. Hunter x Hunter is a gem amongst the shonen genre, even if it never gets completed. It's a very unique existence that has been generated from over 2 decades of evolution and growth, with its author constantly pursuing new and interesting ways of pushing what was once a simple battle manga. I highly doubt we will ever see something quite like Hunter x Hunter again, and I am very grateful for the time I have spent with it so far. But with that said, come on 2020, I know you can do it. Every week at this point sets a new record for the longest hiatus period, so we must be coming to the end of this dark tunnel eventually, right? Illogical thought there, of course, but one that is somewhat comforting. I'll tell you what though, regardless of the state of the manga, this channel will continue producing Hunter x Hunter content in the hopes of drawing in new fans, reigniting the passions of old fans, and providing even a hint of satisfaction to that Hunter x Hunter craving that I know we all have. And that pretty much does it for the New World Review for 2019. If you've made it to the end of this video, then I'd like to extend a particularly special thanks for making this a phenomenal first year in the life of the channel. I never anticipated that the desire to see content made for a series not currently in publication would be so high, but I really have been inspired by the love you all share for Hunter x Hunter in particular, and it has been an honor and a privilege to share that with all of you. So if you have any particular topics you'd like me to cover in 2020, then please do feel free to drop them in the comments below, because I am very keen to continue exploring the depth of this series, because it really does provide so much more than even I remembered. But if you enjoyed this video and the content this channel produced in general, then please do consider donating to the New World Review Patreon, because the support of all of you amazing people is what continues to make this channel possible. And if Patreon isn't quite your style, then please do leave this video a like, share, or subscribe, because it also helps support this channel an incredible amount. And if you'd like to join the fun at any time, then please do head over to my Discord server, where a wide array of shenaniganry takes place on a daily basis. And finally, please do comment with your predictions on when Hunter x Hunter will return. This has been the New World Review, and I'll see you next year. Will you make your own Nen abilities? I would be real interested in seeing it. Yeah, so this is something I've actually been thinking about for a while now. I'm just not really sure how much actual interest it would generate, because it wouldn't be about Hunter x Hunter directly, but more like a theoretical exercise in creating a couple of Hatsu based on my own personality and general needs in life. I personally think it's a really cool idea. In fact, I think everyone should do it. I'm just not convinced that it would make the best video. Who do you think would win in a fight? Illumi or Hisoka? Intriguing question. One that could probably have a whole video dedicated to it, really. And although it's pure speculation, my gut feeling would have to say Hisoka. Certainly after the Heaven's Arena incident, now that he has invoked a form of post-mortem Nen, essentially giving him a straight-up power-up. Before that though, I wouldn't be so sure. So give me some time to think about this one. Sounds like a 2020 problem to me. Why are people stupid? Well, a person is smart. So as a self-identifying people, I don't feel in any way qualified to answer this question.